Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the Christopher Mark Show. On this episode, we're going to get into personal relationships. Last episode we talked about social. So this one we're going to actually start delving into personal relationships. So, for example, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and really just helping you to understand um, one, what is a healthy relationship, what is not a healthy relationship, when should you, you know how do you can identify when to get out of a out of an unhealthy relationship. So we're going to talk about all those things in this short period of time, and hopefully this will be able to help you guys. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is like a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship is essentially like, okay, what are the goals that you and this person trying to achieve? Right? Are you trying to, you know are you trying to, like, eventually get married? Now I know marriage is like so like oh my gosh, you guys are like, you're like, oh, so old fashioned, but truthfully, um you know it's not old fashioned. Marriage, for guys, and this is the part where I'm going to mention that, for you, for some, I'm going to toggle between stuff that's beneficial for men and the stuff that's beneficial for women. So just keep this in mind. Don't try not to be too critical or harsh on me. All right. Please bear with me. So for guys, marriage is um is more professionally and socially beneficial. Um and what I mean by that is that if you see a married man, it says he's stable. He's going to provide stability. And or say for example, he's at work. Well, if you see a married man, then that means that he's not going to be out late at night trying to get some girl's number or at a bar or at a club. At the end of the day, he has to be home because he has to take care of his kids or he has to spend time with his wife. He's not wild. He's not, all over the place. So, he's pretty much stable. So, the reason why you might have, guys who wind up getting married is usually for those reasons. Now, here are the cons of marriage for men. The cons is basically like, um, well, they once they get married, they wind up losing their they anything that anytime that woman spends with him, or, oh baby, I love you, I care about you, I believe in you, blah blah blah. She's working. Okay, she is working. So if a woman tells you she loves you, that means that is her clocking in. Okay, she's clocking in so she can work for you. Okay, so the reason why men wind up, they wind up divorcing or whatever, is usually because um the reason why they usually women usually file for divorce on average. But the reason why when they get divorced that they lose half is usually because for the woman it was a job the whole entire time. Yes, she is emotional about the ending of the relationship because she didn't understand that she really lost social credibility as and she lost social respect as a woman. So here's the problem with marriage for women. When women get divorced, um, you know, depending on the type of guy that they're with, she loses that status. So if that status is a main concern for her, then it's going to be a whole issue. But she loses the status of actually having of being respected. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't respect women. What I'm saying is that how people see it, if you see a married woman, you realize that she's not sleeping around, right? You realize that she's not with Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? Because you understand that she's at home, she's taking care of her husband, she's providing for her children. You understand that she's a respectable woman, right? And so a lot of times what happens is that people look at, okay, well, man, um, how come they got divorced? So when she gets divorced, now she has to survive. She has to go into survival mode. Once she goes into survival mode, what men interpret as, oh man, she's just sleeping around. She's really, well, she is sleeping around, but she's also she's also essentially kind of gathering, right? So let's say for example, I meet, she meets this guy who's um, super rich, right? But then she got this other guy who's really good for sex. And then she got this other guy who's really good for emotional support. Well, she now can utilize all three of these men to fulfill the needs that she needs to satiate. And so because of that, that's the reason why you might see a lot of women with multiple guys. Cuz most times you're not going to find in one guy all of those things, because most guys just are usually really good at like a specific thing. If it's really good at sex, providing, or the emotional comfort. And so when it all boils down to it, that's the reason why, like for women, um when they go through that disappointment of losing that status, of losing that social respect, um of losing that, of losing just that aspect of it in a relationship. Once they lost that, it's harder for them to get into that situation again, because men essentially control relationships. They determine if they want to be with you, stay with you. Women determine if they want it to keep working, right? So men determine if it's going to actually start. Women determine if it's going to actually end. Okay. So now we're going to get into, why do people usually get divorced? Okay. So statistics say that people get divorced because of money. Okay. And usually it's because of money, and usually it's because of sex. But mainly, the real reason why people get divorced is really because, one, you guys don't have the same goals. So you're in a relationship without having, like, viewing it as a real partnership, right? Because there's a business side to any relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether you're just in a casual relationship. Why am I with you? Why am I with you? Because other than that, we're just having fun, wasting time, and lying to each other all day, right? So what is the purpose of me being with you? Okay. Now it could be, oh, you look good, I look good. We just wanted to sleep together, and that was just it. That could be the case, and that can be okay. But here's the thing: eventually, you're going to realize, like, man, the relationship wasn't built on anything that was solid. It was built on, you know, infatuation. It was built on a crush. It's built on, on the fantasy, right? So the one thing you have to look at is that when it comes down to your relationship, you have to really think about, okay, um, why am I with this person? And if you don't have that in common, that's one of the reasons why usually people get divorced. Another reason why people usually get divorced is because, um, you know, men aren't being masculine. And what does that mean to be masculine? A lot of times people are like, oh, well, you're not masculine. Really, what that means is this: um, you're not allowing a woman to fantasize about you, and you're focused on seeking her approval, right? Women don't want you to seek their approval. It's the worst thing in the world you could ever do as a man. And this is all to the fellas. They want you to be able to provide. They want you to be able to understand how to balance yourself out emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, right? So that you can give them love, right? Women don't know how to love. Sorry, ladies. I know y'all gonna feel some type of way about this, but I'm just speaking the truth. Women don't know how to love. Women know how to nurture, right? And nurturing works great for a child. It doesn't work good for a man. Respect works good for a man because if she respects him, then she's not going to, when he's at work and he's, killing himself, lifting bricks or whatever he does, right? When she because she has respect for him, she is going to make sure that yes, if the pool boy is coming by, she's not going to, play out some porno, right? Seeing in her mind or some fantasy that she had in her mind. She's going to think to herself, you know what? I respect my husband. So I'm not going to allow this man to, for us to sleep together, right? She's just not going to let that happen. And so, but that's the importance of respect. Now, a woman, if say for example, she said, okay, well, why is respect more important for a man than love? Here is why. Because if a woman loves, love is a broad perspective. Now I know it might sound weird, but it's truth. It really is. Like love is broad. Love is like, oh, I love you, and love is something that because it's a broad perspective, it's all left up to an interpretation of what a person interpret as love, right? But when you respect yourself and you respect the person you're with, what happens is that you have a measure of loyalty not only to the person but to yourself as well. So that's one of the things, the reasons why usually with people they usually wind up getting divorced because of that. Because the man really, this is usually how the order is supposed to go of love. So you understand. Men are supposed to build their relationship with God. God gives love to the man, right? Provides love to the man, so that love from the man gets provided to the woman. The woman in turn takes that love and uses that love to nurture the child, right? And then what women do is that you think that they're giving you love. They're not. What they're giving you in return is the love you gave them, right? Now, a woman have two choices when you give her that love. She can use that love and leave you, right? Because that love, the energy of that love, she doesn't know what to do with it, right? She is not meant for her to hold it. So she has two choices. She can use it for herself to gain access or get access to other people or use other men, right? Or she can use it toward back towards you to replenish you. And usually nowadays, most women don't understand the power of being, there to replenish a man, um, but the love that he gave her. So usually they just wind up taking the love and just going off and doing whatever. And then once they run out of the love that they received from that person, they usually wind up coming back to get, you know, more love from you. But truthfully, is that they don't deserve your love, and honestly, they don't know what to do with it. Because if they did, they would see the value of you, right? But that goes a little bit more in depth with that. But to break this down for you guys, when it comes down to, because yeah, we're nearing the end, yeah. So when it comes down to personal relationships, the main thing that you really want to focus on is ask yourself, um, you know, what do you want from the person? Why are you together? What is the goal? What can y'all give to one another? Do y'all have the same language of love, right? And same belief system? Those are things that are huge, huge factors and which determines if you're going to have a positive or negative outcome of your relationships. Um, you know, is relationships hard nowadays? Of course. And it's really hard because of, you know, um, it's not to say that, you know, women there aren't good women out there. It's just that they're not being taught. They don't have an example. They think that, a lot of women feel like, oh, my femininity is a weakness, and it's not. So they try to project masculinity. Um, but it's not a weakness, it's your strength. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of men nowadays who are masculine, and masculine in their way of not necessarily belittling you, but empowering you and uplifting you and stabilizing you. And so, and because of just, because of how society is and everything like that and social media, unfortunately, the women that we see, they use their bodies to create some sense of empowerment and control. But again, that's that they always wonder why relationships don't work out. It's because you don't know how to love. And when you don't know how to love, you'll never receive it. You'll never receive the love if you don't know how to do it, or if you don't understand how to identify what love is. So, in the next episode, because I was trying to get it all in this episode, I'm sorry guys, but I don't want to keep this thing too long for you. But in the next one, we're going to talk about unhealthy relationships, and how to know when to actually get out of those unhealthy relationships. Um, because that's a very important thing. A lot of times people stay in relationships because they feel like, man, I have to be with this person. I love them. We've been together for years. I wouldn't know who I am without them. And so we're going to talk about how unhealthy relationships actually start, and then how to, when to leave that type of relationship, or how to actually make that relationship a better relationship for the both of you. All right. So I will see you guys on the next episode, and yeah, talk to you soon. Peace.